From the KBIA Newsroom in Columbia, I'm Victoria Harrison. Missouri lawmakers have passed a bipartisan proposal designed to increase access to contraception statewide. If signed by Governor Mike Kehoe, private insurance plans would have to cover up to a 12-month supply of birth control at a time. Missouri Medicaid already allows receiving a year-long supply. Beacon Reproductive Health Network Executive Director Michelle Trupiano says the bill reduces the effort necessary to receive contraception.
Now, typically, I'm only getting a 30-day supply or sometimes a 90-day supply, which forces me to have to come back to the pharmacy again and again to get my method of birth control. But this legislation would say you get your full year supply at once.
A recent survey by Trupiano's organization found that 1 in 4 Missourians face obstacles obtaining birth control. A proposal to move 2 of the country's most important seed banks out of Illinois is drawing criticism from some experts. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is proposing moving the country's only public soybean seed bank and a collection of corn stalks representing genetic mutants. Both are currently housed at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. The proposal would move the soybean seed bank to Columbia, Missouri, and the maize collection to Ames, Iowa. Steve Harris, a professor of plant pathology at Iowa State University, says he's torn on the proposal.
Just speaking generally as a biologist or a geneticist, you really try to minimize the amount of times you have to move these types of precious stocks, because every time you move them, there is a risk that you're going to compromise their integrity.
A USDA spokesperson said the goal is to move the collections closer to the farmers and ranchers they serve. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe does not plan to call a special session to once again redraw the state's congressional lines. Some Republicans called for transforming the state's St. Louis-based 1st Congressional District into a more GOP-leaning seat after a few southern states created new maps after the U.S. Supreme Court weakened protections for majority-minority districts. Kehoe, though, says he's focusing on a potential referendum over a congressional map passed last year.
Well, as you know, things in this building change hourly sometimes. But no, right now I think we would like Missourians to have a chance to vote on the Missouri First map.
Missouri Republicans redrew the state's congressional map last year to make it harder for Democratic Rep. Emanuel Cleaver of Kansas City to win re-election. Cities like St. Louis will be able to take advantage of new incentives to convert vacant or underused properties into new developments, including housing. The House legislature passed a bill on Thursday allowing for the creation of Missouri Innovation Zones. Proponents of the legislation say it contains a mixture of tax cuts, tax incentives, and deregulation to lure growth to the state. Voting against the bill, St. Louis County Representative Ben Keithley says while the state should be looking for ways to grow Missouri, this is not the way to do it.
We should be looking at reining in these types of things that have put us in this mess, not creating super TIFs and super tax credit tools that have only failed over and over again.
The legislation now goes to Governor Mike Kehoe. I'm Victoria Harrison, KBIA News, Columbia.